The easiest way of calculating the cost of capture is looking at your total investment in getting it implemented, then divide that by the total amount of CO2 over the lifetime of that specific measure. For example, imagine that you install CCUS technology that captures 100,000 tons of CO2 and it costs $10 million. You operate it for 5 years. Take that as a benchmark. Divide the total amount of tons by the cost over time, and you come to the cost of total CO2 captured per ton. The truth is that it takes carbon to run the technology to capture carbon, and there are complexities in how CO2 reductions are determined. But to put it simply, the cost of using CCUS measures will be impacted by a variety of factors, and these include specific technology used, site-specific characteristics of the industrial facility, purity of the CO2 in the flue gas waste stream, how the carbon can be stored, utilized, or sold, the distance and method for the stored carbon to be transported, fuel prices, cost of capital, regulatory environment, and operating and maintenance costs. Carbon Clean is continuing to invest in the production of a modularized solution, Cyclone CC, which significantly reduces both CapEx and OpEx, lowering the cost of CO2 capture on average to $30 per ton. It is currently at the successful pilot testing stage and will now be demonstrated and commercialized at 10 tons per day, with select partners who will work with us to gain advanced knowledge for final product rollout by the summer of 2022. As with many new technologies, the companies that choose to embrace the possibilities offered by affordable CCUS at scale will be those that reap the most reward. First movers shape the path of industry and have the greatest advantage of positioning their organizations for a new, sustainable way of doing business. As carbon pricing continues to take off across jurisdictions over the next decades, those companies caught unprepared may quickly find themselves at a major financial disadvantage that will be difficult to recover from. Carbon price support and subsidies are likely to go down over time as carbon pricing becomes more widespread, giving first movers the greatest benefit from CCUS as they began avoiding emissions while the price was at its highest. These first movers will also be the best positioned to create new valuable product offerings for environmentally sensitive consumers, helping to future-proof their business models against shifts in both government regulations and consumer demands that aim to support sustainable and green enterprises. With Carbon Clean's modular solutions being introduced into the market, carbon capture will no longer be cost prohibitive to smaller businesses. These modular solutions allow industries to achieve their net zero targets audibly and at scale.